Have you ever wondered, why do some people start from zero, yet become number one? Why is it that with the same job, the same 24 hours a day, some become top experts, while others remain mere observers? I've met many talented people, but talent alone doesn't make them the best. I've met many lucky people, but luck doesn't keep them at the top for long. The harsh truth is the best are not born with advantages. They're the ones who create them every single day. And let me tell you, a secret success is never an accident. It always has a system. There are rules, and if you dare to live by them, you'll break free from the crowd, you'll enter the small circle, the circle of the exceptional, the ones whose names make the world pay attention, the ones whose results speak before they even open their mouths, the ones who cannot be ignored. Do you want to become one of them? Then get ready. 7 rules, 7 keys to becoming the best in any field. Not tomorrow, not next year, starting today. Because success doesn't wait for you to be ready, it only comes to those who start. And listen carefully, rule #3 is the awakening slap. Miss it and you'll regret it for life. Stay till the end. You'll thank yourself for choosing to continue. Rule 1, focus on one thing until mastered. If you hold a magnifying glass under the sun and keep moving it from place to place, the light won't do anything but create a faint spot. But if you hold it still at one single point, that light turns into fire. Life is the same. People don't fail because they lack ability, but because they never focus long enough to win. In a world full of choices like today, you can start 10 things in a single month. This week it's business, next week it's crypto, then YouTube, then TikTok, then online sales, and disappear before anything takes root. We don't lack opportunities. We lack consistency with one opportunity. I've met too many people who were almost successful. They start fast but stop just as fast. They're always running but never getting anywhere. They dig 100 shallow holes and never find a drop of water. Only those who dare to dig one hole deep enough find their own spring. Successful people aren't the ones who try the most things. They're the ones brave enough to stick with one longer than everyone else. Today, everyone sees the success of a YouTuber with millions of views, a founder who raised funding, or a freelancer earning thousands a day with AI. But they don't see the 4 years of persistence when no one watched. The 100 failed projects deleted at midnight, the 1,000 hours spent mastering one skill, and the 1,000 hours of quiet practice. The world only sees your mountain peak, but to reach it, you must climb every small stone yourself. What I've learned is this: don't change your goal just because you faced difficulty the first time. If you must change your goal, do it after you finish the first one, because focus creates strength, and long-term focus creates breakthroughs. The top is always empty because so few are persistent enough to reach it. So ask yourself, what in this life is worthy of all your energy, time, and heart? If you're truly serious, pick one thing and commit to the end. Not until you're tired, but until it becomes part of your identity. Not until you're good enough, but until no one can do it better than you. That is the mindset of the exceptional. They don't just do a job, they become the job itself. The day you choose a path and walk it to the end is the day you begin to touch greatness. And once you've chosen your path, the next thing you must do is love every small step of the journey. No one becomes a legend from a single moment of glory. They become legends because they practice like the obsessed every day without rest. Because rule 2 will reveal what all champions understand: success doesn't come from the final result. It comes from the love for the process. Rule 2, embrace continuous practice and learning. The most dangerous thing you can do on your journey to greatness isn't failing. It's stopping when you're just good enough. Good enough is the silent killer of greatness. And the difference between the best and the rest of the world isn't talent or luck, but the rhythm of consistent practice every single day, even when no one's watching, even when there's no applause. I've seen so many people dream of shining peaks. They talk about fame, achievement, recognition, but they don't love the exhausting steps that lead to that peak. They want the medal, but hate the marathon. They want the fruit, but don't want to water the tree. And one day they conclude that the dream isn't for me, not realizing the simple truth: they never practiced long enough. The best don't grow under the spotlight. They grow in the quiet hours of sharpening their skills, learning a bit more, trying one more time, refining one more detail, and starting over patiently, humbly, consistently. That's how the ordinary becomes extraordinary. Not with one leap, but with thousands of small steps in the right direction. In today's fast-paced tech world, learning is no longer an advantage. It's a requirement for survival. Everything you know today can become outdated in months. Stop learning for one day, you fall 2 days behind. Stop for a year, you disappear from the game. The leader isn't the smartest person, it's the one who learns fast and keeps updating from books, from failures, from others, and from their own mistakes. They're not afraid to adapt, not afraid to start over, because they understand that every revision brings them closer to mastery. What matters isn't how many hours you practice, but how intentionally you do it. 1 hour of practice without reflection is just movement. But 1 hour of practice with analysis, correction, and refinement, that's progress. Progress is the fuel of confidence, and confidence is the doorway to greatness. So ask yourself, did I become 1% better than yesterday? If the answer is yes, you're on an unstoppable path. If the answer is no, no one else but you is responsible. Don't count the days waiting for success to come. Make each day a brick in the foundation of your success. Because victory doesn't come from the final result, but from every time you choose to keep going, tired, bored, or still in the dark. And when you've mastered focus rule 1 and learned to love the process rule 2, you'll face a greater challenge raising your own standards even when no one asks you to. Because the exceptional don't just do enough, they do their absolute best. And that is the door that opens to rule 3. Rule 3, demand the best from yourself always. If you want to stand where only a few people in the world can stand, you must be willing to do what most people in the world don't have the patience to do. Ordinary people set their goals based on the minimum required to be accepted. The exceptional set their standards based on the maximum they can reach. And that difference creates 2 entirely different lives. The day you accept this is good enough is the day you put an end to your own growth. Most people are not mediocre because they lack talent, but because they allow themselves to be. They do just enough to avoid criticism, but not enough to make themselves proud. They always choose the easiest path, and the easiest path always leads to a familiar land mediocrity. The ones at the top are different. They don't need reminders to take things seriously. They don't wait for praise to put in effort. They don't work to be better than others, they work to be better than who they were yesterday. When no one is watching, they remain disciplined. When no one praises them, they keep moving forward. When things get tough, they raise their standards instead of quitting. That's the quality of those whom the world eventually bows to. There will be days you don't feel motivated, days you feel stuck, days you want to rest a little longer, days you want to watch another video, sleep another hour, or tell yourself I'll do it tomorrow. But that's the defining moment, when fate asks you, do you want ease now or greatness later? Those who become legends choose greatness. They choose difficulty. They choose discipline. They choose to do what's right even when no one cares if they do it or not. Those repeated choices make them people who cannot be ignored, because their standards are never built on emotion. They're built on commitment. Not try when I feel good and stop when I'm tired, but always no matter what. I once heard a quote that changed the way I live. Don't lower your standards to fit an easy life. Raise your life to meet higher standards. Because when you dare to demand the best from yourself, you develop something more valuable than results self-respect. You begin to believe you deserve the summit. And that belief opens the door to your next great leap. Now you've focused on one path, rule 1, fallen in love with the process, rule 2, and raised your standards to the highest level, rule 3. But there's a dangerous trap waiting for you once you start doing well, once you see some results, some early success. It's easy to become complacent. And complacency is the surest way to lose everything you've built. That's why rule 4 exists. And if you miss it, you might lose yourself right as you're climbing the peak. So get ready, because what comes next will keep you grounded when success arrives. Not to make you greater than others, but to make you greater than yourself. And that is rule 4. Rule 4, stay humble, stay hungry, stay becoming. Success is a far tougher test than failure. When you fail, you know you must change. But when you start winning, when you have some results, some money, some recognition, it's easy to believe you're already good enough that you've arrived. And in that very moment, decline begins quietly. Complacency doesn't knock. It walks in silently and extinguishes your inner fire day by day. I was once like that. After achieving my first few successes in business and life, I thought I knew it all, that I had reached the top. But then I realized a chilling truth. The day you think you've become great is the day you begin to lose what made you great. Arrogance says I already know. Humility says I can still learn. One closes a door to opportunity, the other opens the sky. You must understand today's peak will be tomorrow's starting point. You can't lead the future if you're stuck relying on yesterday's victories. Humility helps you learn faster, go farther, and keep the spirit of a climber, not someone standing still looking down. But humility alone isn't enough. You must stay hungry. Hungry for goals, hungry for growth, hungry for the feeling of pushing past your limits. Hungry enough to wake up every day, asking, how will I become better today? Not to surpass others, but to avoid betraying the potential life gave you. Many people lose their drive, not because they're weak, but because they get too comfortable with ease, with safety, with enough. But that comfort is the softest trap of all. And finally, always keep yourself in the state of becoming. Not successful, becoming successful. Not great, becoming great. Each day a bit more. Each month a step further. Never complete, but always more complete than before. Because life doesn't celebrate who you already are, it celebrates who you're still becoming. Achievements may end the chapter, but the exceptional never accept the period. They keep writing their story like a book without an ending. Look at the greatest minds, athletes, entrepreneurs who reach the top. They learn, they train, they hunger, and they keep becoming. They celebrate for a moment, then go back to work, as if they've achieved nothing. That's why they stay on top, not because they climb faster, but because they never stop climbing. Now that you've chosen your path, Rule 1, embrace the process. Rule 2, and maintain the highest standards. Rule 3, Rule 4 is your armor protecting you from slipping into mediocrity the moment you lose focus. But there's another equally powerful factor, the environment around you. Because no matter how disciplined or ambitious you are, if you surround yourself with people who never want to grow, you'll slowly slow down without realizing it. And that's why you need Rule 5. If you want to stand with the best, you must be among the best. Let's step into that now. Rule 5, surround yourself with excellence. Your life will change the moment you change the people around you. Because environment is always stronger than willpower. You can be the most disciplined, the most passionate person, but if you spend your days around people who are lazy, complaining negative, blaming others, and accepting mediocrity as a lifestyle, you'll slowly become a version of yourself you no longer recognize. Stagnation is persuasive. It whispers, this is good enough. We are mirrors of one another. When you're around people with low standards, you'll lower yours to match. When you're around people better than you, you'll naturally raise your standards to keep up. Not because anyone forces you to, but because the pace of the group determines the pace of the individual. I used to be broke, lost, and surrounded by people who said, this is good enough. Don't try too hard. And I believed them. I made myself small to fit their small expectations. Until one day I met different people. People who talked about goals, the future, freedom and growth and mindset and wealth. They dared to dream big and were willing to pay the price. Their thinking was sharp as steel, their habits unshakable. And after spending time with them, I began to ask myself, why should I live small, exceptional people make you feel the need to level up? Not out of competition, but out of awakening. They make you look at yourself and realize, I can be so much more. That's the greatest gift a good environment can give you. Look at the 5 people you spend the most time with. Their mindset will shape how you think. Their habits will shape what you do. Their level of success will set the limit of your own. You can give your all, but if you're trying to climb a mountain while your group is walking downhill, you'll never reach the top. So be brave enough to walk away from relationships that hold you back, even if it means being alone. Because loneliness on the path to greatness is better than comfort in mediocrity. And seek out people who inspire you, people who make you think differently, people whose results alone motivate you to improve yourself. Find mentors, find a team. Find minds that want to grow and hearts that want to soar beyond limits. Because you'll never become the best if you stay in rooms where everyone is satisfied with good enough. The miracle is when you change the people around you, you change your future. Because mindset spreads, ambition spreads, excellence spreads. You've chosen your path, Rule 1. You've trained daily, Rule 2. You've set your standards at the highest level, Rule 3. You've stayed humble and hungry, Rule 4. And now, Rule 5 is what helps you accelerate, go further, and maintain the momentum of a peak performer. But there's still one more thing. If you truly want to become the best in any field, you must win against yourself every single day, not with bursts of intensity, but with consistency. Only when you repeat the right actions long enough without interruption do you create the breakthroughs others call miracles. And that's when Rule 6 appears. Rule 6, build consistency before intensity. The world praises breakthrough moments, a crushing victory, an exploding business, a video hitting 1 million views overnight. But the world ignores the thousands of quiet days before that. Days when no one knows you, days when your efforts get no recognition, days when you have to fight yourself just to take one more step. Success doesn't come from a single big bang. It comes from the small footsteps repeated every day without show, without quitting. The problem is most people want to burn bright fast. They want results right away. They start with intense excitement, working out 3 hours a day, reading 5 books a week, posting nonstop, working to exhaustion. But after just a few days, a few weeks, they fade. Because they didn't build rhythm, they're just using excitement to fight persistence. The exceptional understand this. It's not intensity that creates legends, it's consistency. An average habit done consistently is 100 times stronger than an excellent habit done sporadically. Look at a river cutting through rock. It isn't stronger than the rock, but it never stops flowing. Persistence is the power of water, soft to the eye, yet unstoppable when it's determined. You don't need to run far every day, you just need to not stop running. You don't need to always go all out, you just need to not let the fire go out. Not every day is a big win, but every day must be a small win. Anything great is built from small, steady wins like that. The formula of successful people is very simple yet incredibly hard to do. They choose one important thing and they do it every day until it becomes part of them, no longer a task, no longer a goal, but an instinct. So look at yourself and ask, what did I do today that made me 1% better than yesterday? That's the only question you need to answer each day if you want to reach the top. And here's the truth. When you maintain long enough, intensity will naturally appear because consistency creates skill. Skill creates confidence. Confidence creates speed and power. That's when you explode. But this time you explode at the right time and never burn out. Now you have one path, rule 1. Love for the process, rule 2. Elite standards, rule 3. Habits of humility and hunger, rule 4. An environment that lifts you up, rule 5. Amperes, sustainable rhythm of discipline, rule 6. There's only one more thing to complete the picture of the best something without which all effort becomes meaningless, and that is absolute responsibility for your life. And that is Rule 7. Rule 7, take full responsibility and measure your progress. There is a defining moment in every life, the moment you realize no one is coming to save you. Not the government, not your family, not your friends, not luck falling from the sky. Only you and the choices you make every day. That's the shift from child to adult, when you stop blaming and start taking responsibility. Average people always have reasons. I don't have the resources. I don't have opportunities. I don't have help. I don't have time. But the excellent say, I will create the resources. I will find the opportunities. I will learn if I don't know. I will prioritize what matters. The difference between those two sets of words is two entirely different lives. Most people want big results, but they don't dare look in the mirror each day to see whether they've actually moved forward or stood still. They work in a fog, no clear goals, no concrete measurements. Then they conclude, I tried, but it didn't work. When the truth is, they didn't track their effort. I always say, no measurement, no improvement. You can't fix what you don't track. You can't grow what you don't manage. You can't win if you don't know where you are on the map of life. The exceptional always know these things. They record their progress. They see where they've improved. They identify where they're weak. They face reality without excuses. And every number, every data point, every small step forward is proof that they're approaching greatness, surely and irreversibly. No need to leap. Just look back each week, each month, and say, today I moved forward. Ask yourself, am I moving forward or just busy? Am I taking action or just dreaming? Am I driving my life or letting life carry me away? Your future will change the moment you dare to declare every result in my life, good or bad, is my responsibility. That is not a burden. That is freedom. The day you take full responsibility, you take back control of your life. You stop waiting, you start creating, you stop hoping, you start acting. And from today on, no one will bear it for you. No one will decide for you. No one will be able to stop you. You now hold in your hands 7 rules to become the best in any field. Focus on one path, love the process of training. Set elite standards, stay humble and hungry. Choose the right environment, be consistent every day, and take full responsibility for your life. From here, it's no longer theory, no longer fleeting motivation. But the reality you will build yourself, because the best aren't the ones who say, I'll try. They're the ones who say, I will do it, and I will not stop. If you've watched to this moment, it means there's a fire inside you, a quiet reminder that you were born to do more, become more, reach far beyond what you're living today. These 7 rules aren't pretty theories to hear and forget. They're a contract you must sign with yourself. I will focus on one path until I'm excellent. I will love every step of the process. I will set standards higher than anything life demands of me. I will stay humble to learn more and hungry to go further. I will choose an environment that makes me break through. I will be consistent every day, even if just 1%. And I will take full responsibility for every result in my life. If you live by these 7 rules, nothing on earth can stop you from becoming the best. Not competitors, not circumstances, not fear. Because the most powerful weapon in this world is the person you are becoming each day. Look straight at your future. It's waiting on one decision starting today. You don't need to run fast. Just keep stepping, keep going, and don't stop. And one day, you'll look back and be amazed at the extraordinary journey you built with your own 2 hands. I believe this with all my heart. You can become exceptional. You can make the world pay attention to you. You can become living proof of the power of discipline and the right mindset. And now I want to ask you one question, the question that could define your life. Of these 7 rules, which one will you aptly immediately starting today? Share it in the comments. That will be your first commitment to yourself. If you found this video valuable, like, subscribe, and share it to spread this value to more people. Don't miss the next lessons because your self-development journey is only just beginning. And to close, I want to leave you with a reminder. I always keep close. If you want life to change, you have to change. If you want life to get better, you have to get better. Jim Rohn today, choose to become a better version of yourself. And I'll see you at the summit of your own life.